The Golden Globes have always been one of those nights where everything feels larger than life. Flashing cameras, glittering gowns, and the biggest Hollywood stars all gathering under one roof. This year, though, the spotlight wasn't only on the awards or the fashion. It was on a single moment that no one could ignore. Between the red carpet arrivals and the private after-parties, two familiar faces crossed paths: Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Their history isn't just another celebrity story. It's one that millions of people have followed for years. The ups, the downs, the heartbreak, it was all played out in front of the world. And now, at an event like this, the past and present quietly collided. Selena arrived as one of the night's biggest names, nominated twice for her work in Emilia Perez and Only Murders in the Building. More than that, she stepped onto the carpet with her fiancé, Benny Blanco, making their first public appearance as an engaged couple. For her, this was meant to be a celebration of both career and personal milestones. What she didn't expect was Justin showing up. The Golden Globes have never really been his scene, so his presence caught her off guard. Yet there he was, in the same room, breathing the same air. Imagine enjoying one of the biggest nights of your life, your partner by your side, and then suddenly spotting the person who once defined your past. That's what happened to Selena. She didn't have a dramatic reaction. She didn't walk away or break down, but there was a quiet flicker of emotion, just enough to remind everyone watching that some connections never fully disappear. This night, however, was still hers. Dressed in a pale blue, off-the-shoulder gown that felt like a modern Cinderella moment, Selena glowed with confidence. Tiffany diamonds shimmered under the lights, giving her an almost untouchable aura. Beside her, Benny looked polished in a clean white suit, the two of them walking hand in hand, whispering and smiling like nobody else existed. It wasn't just for the cameras, it felt authentic. Selena herself even joked that she felt a little like Cinderella, and the sparkle in her eyes matched the jewels around her neck. For once, this wasn't about paparazzi or gossip columns. It was about a woman genuinely happy and in love. Her relationship with Benny stands out from everything that came before. Unlike past romances, which were constantly under scrutiny and filled with speculation, this one feels grounded. They don't hide and they don't play games. They share moments openly with fans, stand strong against online criticism, and show a partnership built on trust. At first, people questioned them. Benny wasn't the kind of household name her exes were, and some wondered if it would last. But as time passed, it became clear that what they have is real. That's exactly why seeing Justin in the same space carried so much weight. On one side, Selena glowed with happiness. On the other, Justin seemed reserved. He kept his distance, avoided unnecessary attention, and looked uneasy to some. It was almost like a glimpse of the younger version of him, the boy who once shared a love story that felt bigger than the world. There was a time when Selena and Justin weren't just another Hollywood couple. They were the couple. Fans couldn't get enough of them. Every song lyric, every social media post, every blurry paparazzi snapshot was dissected for clues about their relationship. It felt intense, the kind of young love that people believed would never fade. But constant attention, the pressures of fame, and personal struggles eventually turned that love story into something far less magical. Even so, memories don't disappear overnight. And on this night, when Selena was at the peak of both her career and personal joy, the shadow of what once was quietly resurfaced. It wasn't a confrontation or a scene. It was just a fleeting reminder that while people move forward, the past never completely leaves. By 2018, the chapter between Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber had finally closed. What had once been one of the most talked about love stories in Hollywood ended in a way that left both of them moving in completely different directions. For Selena, the end was devastating. She has spoken openly about how deeply that breakup affected her, admitting that it nearly broke her spirit. The pain was real, heavy, and overwhelming. Yet as she slowly picked up the pieces, she discovered something unexpected. The ending of that relationship became the very thing that allowed her to rebuild her life. Looking back now, she calls it one of the best things that could have happened. It forced her to rediscover her strength, prioritize her own well-being, and reclaim her voice. She learned that putting herself first wasn't selfish. It was survival. While Justin quickly moved on and married Hailey Baldwin in 2018, Selena took a different path. She gave herself time to heal, to grow, and to find a new version of happiness that didn't depend on anyone else. That journey of self-discovery transformed her into the confident, radiant woman who walked into the Golden Globes in 2025. That's what made the moment so powerful. Selena wasn't standing in that room as Justin's ex or a woman weighed down by her past. She stood there as a double nominee, a respected actress, and a woman deeply in love with her fiancé, Benny Blanco. The world wasn't applauding a romance that had ended years ago. It was applauding the woman she had become through the process. Still, no one can deny that first loves leave an imprint. They linger quietly, not because there's unfinished business, but because they shaped who you are. That's why her quiet encounter with Justin carried so much meaning. It wasn't about rekindling feelings. It was about recognizing how far she had come. Then came an unexpected twist. Just days after Selena's engagement to Benny hit the headlines, Justin unfollowed her on Instagram. On the surface, it may sound like a small thing, but in the world of celebrities, where every move is dissected online, An unfollow can feel louder than any public statement. It's like shutting a door without saying a word. The question is, why now? Was it about seeing her with Benny at the Globes? Was it the engagement news? Or was it simply a personal choice that had nothing to do with her at all? No one can say for sure, but it certainly added fuel to an already buzzing conversation. That's the thing about Selena and Justin's story. It never seems to fully disappear. Even when they are living separate lives, married or engaged to other people, their names still find a way back into the same sentence. Whether it's across a crowded ballroom, a subtle interaction on social media, or simply the shared memories people refuse to forget, their connection continues to spark interest. Inside the Golden Globes ballroom, the energy was electric. Flashing lights, buzzing cameras, and fans trying to catch a glimpse of their favorite stars created an atmosphere of pure excitement. Through it all, Selena remained calm and composed. For her, this wasn't just another Hollywood evening, it was a milestone. Walking proudly beside Benny, she exuded confidence, grounded in the knowledge of who she had become. For years, every detail of her relationships had been public property. Every breakup, every rumor, every social media post had been analyzed and debated. But that night, she wasn't defined by old stories. She was defined by her success, her resilience, and her happiness in the present. Justin, meanwhile, took a different approach. He stayed quiet, almost blending into the background, as though he wanted the focus elsewhere. To many, his presence was simply a reminder of history. Once, he was half of a love story that dominated headlines. On this night, though, he was just another face in the crowd. Still, there was a moment, a fleeting glance, a silent acknowledgement that reminded everyone watching that history never fully disappears. It hides in small looks and unspoken pauses, surfacing when least expected. Fans online picked up on everything. Within minutes, social media exploded. Memes, theories, and endless speculation filled timelines as people tried to read meaning into every glance and some praised Selena's happiness with Benny, calling it proof of her growth. Others dissected Justin's every move, searching for signs of discomfort, regret, or lingering emotion. The truth, as always, is far less dramatic. Emotions are complicated, and when you're under the constant gaze of millions, nothing is ever simple. As the evening went on, Selena and Benny had their own shining moments. They posed together for photos, laughed naturally, and exchanged inside jokes that brought out genuine smiles. They looked like a couple fully in sync, at ease in their own world. Across the room, Justin kept his distance. He didn't cause a scene or cross boundaries. He simply observed, carrying the weight of memory but choosing to remain respectful. Their encounter was brief, but it mattered. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't the stuff of scandal. Instead, it was a quiet reminder of how much both of them have grown. They're no longer the teenagers caught in a whirlwind romance under the microscope of fame. They're adults, navigating life with lessons learned from the love that once defined their youth. By the time the night drew to a close, the internet had already written 100 different versions of what had happened. Some saw lingering tension. Others saw maturity and closure. But for Selena, the night ended the way it began, with her head held high. She left the Golden Globes celebrated, engaged, and confident, with her future firmly in front of her. Justin returned to his own life, his marriage, and his music, but perhaps with the quiet awareness that some connections never fully vanish. And maybe that's what makes nights like this so unforgettable. In an industry filled with flashing lights and endless noise, the real story isn't always about awards or gowns. It's about the unfiltered emotions that remind us all what it means to be human.